Good afternoon, I'm Tracy Sinclaire, and we want to take a quick look at our forecast for the next couple of days as we're heading into the weekend. A lot going on this weekend, and we've been anticipating this change in the weather over the last week or so, and now it is finally here. We are starting to see the impacts of all this warm air that is moving into the south central area. So not only south central, but into the interior, across the west coast, northern Alaska. Pretty much all of Alaska is going to feel the impact of this system. So let's start with some current conditions. This is what it looks like outside our window right now for the Anchorage area. And you know, it's a little bit gray out there, but we are expecting similar conditions throughout the rest of the day, but 34 degrees out at Stevens International Airport, on our way to a high temperature into the upper 30s, maybe even near 40 degrees over the next few days. So that's what we're expecting as we move through. Taking a look at what's going on, we got that snow yesterday in the Anchorage area, and it was, for some of us who were hoping to see the February show up with just a trace of snow, because we haven't done that before. We did get 0.3 inches of snow yesterday, and that means that we are tied in first place for the least snowiest February on record, and unlikely that we will get any snow today, anything that will actually increase that number. So that's probably where we'll stay. Now, we're pretty much assured that we will see the least snowiest winter on record. And when I say winter, I mean for meteorologists, winter comprises of December, January, and February. So as of tomorrow, for meteorologists, we've moved into the spring season. That's not the case for the rest of the world, we understand, but we are expecting that to be on, oh, I think I'm on, that's where. I apologize, I shifted gears right there. So let's go ahead and continue as we move through this. We're also going to be the 12th least snowiest season on record, and that encompasses the full season. That is not just the season of December, January, and February. That includes the whole season, and that means that we are expecting to see that season end tomorrow. And at this point, we will continue to just move in, as I said, move into the spring season. Let's take a look, though. I wanted to show this off because I think this is really, really cool. This is the Tanana River, and hopefully it is still in darkness enough that we can see what goes on. As you look through in the upper part of the sky, you can actually see not only the aurora moving through, but the stars and the planets, and just a little bit of cloud cover and just a little bit of that aurora was really fabulous. Of course, this is where we will be watching for the tripod, for the Nenana Ice Classic, and this is going to be one of the routes for the Iditarod as it leaves Fairbanks. It is going to be moving through Nenana. So we're going to keep watch on that. When I looked yesterday, the depth of the ice on the Tanana River was about 29 inches. But we are expecting, typically at this point of the year, we think, okay, well, that will continue to grow. But as we move through, you're going to see that we're going to see some warm weather moving through. And a lot of it's to do with that low pressure that's in the Gulf. You can see that counterclockwise flow, that little curlicue. But check this out as we move into the interior. Look at those oranges, those very dark oranges. That is indicating that we are going to see some very warm temperatures. This is about a quarter of the way up the atmosphere. So when we're looking at those temperatures from the ground all the way up to about a quarter of the way up, and all of that air is going to be warm, we're going to stay warm. And as I said, that warmth extends all the way to the North Slope, at least briefly. It does look like it starts to get cold again across western Alaska, which, as we start talking about the Iditarod and what's going on with that race, definitely they're looking for colder weather than we're going to be seeing. This is what it looks like on our satellite radar map. Down in southwest, we are seeing some rain and snow showers moving through Kodiak. You had a little rain earlier. We're also seeing that rain moving across the Alaska Peninsula and through Bristol Bay. Some of it's coming down as a rain-snow mix. Here in south central, most of it is coming down on the coastal areas, higher elevations, of course, seeing that as snow. Doesn't look like much is making it over the mountains into the Anchorage area. Those mountains really provide a block for us so that we don't get much that comes over the mountain. Down in southeast, though, we do have that winter storm warning in place. This is for heavy snow for the Klondike Highway areas, higher elevations around Skagway. This has been pretty consistent over the last couple days with these different systems moving through. We're going to talk about how much precipitation you're seeing in southeast in just a few minutes. We do have a winter weather advisory as well for the western Arctic coast. We're looking at blowing snow and really dangerous wind chills. Wind chills across northern Alaska like to be 40 to 45 below for today. So that's what you want to keep in mind. But let's take a look at where we're at this month. We're talking about all that warm air, and that's what we've been seeing. The beginning part of Anchorage, we were under our normals, we were below our normals, and now we are well above our normals. And we have been for 2 weeks, and I think today we actually get probably back into those upper 30s, closer to 37, 38 for our high. Not a lot of precipitation. Now this is liquid equivalent precipitation, so it is not the amount of snow. We did have 0.3 inches of snow yesterday, but that turned into 2/100ths of an inch of liquid precipitation. And then here's what we're looking at in Fairbanks, because we're focused on this primarily because we've got this dog race that's going to be starting there on Monday. 25 degrees, that is above normal for the interior. Right about 17 is where you expect to be for your normal highs. Today, likely to get into the upper 20s, probably about 29 degrees. And then a little bit more precipitation, a little bit more snow than Anchorage has had this year, but really not that much. Let's talk a little bit about what we've seen today, though. And again, most of this is confined to the coastal areas. Portage has had almost 3/4 of an inch of rain already, almost 2/10 of an inch of rain around Seward. The heavy rain right now, of course, through southeast. Over an inch of rain around Yakutat and 3/4 of an inch in Ketchikan. You've had almost 1/10 of an inch in the Cold Bay area. You can see it is really confined into that North Gulf Coast area. Here's the system that we're continuing to watch. It is starting to move out of the way, but right behind it is another one that is going to move along those same paths, and that is going to move into southwest Alaska, over Kodiak Island, and then into south central. That has the possibility of bringing a few snow showers to Anchorage on Sunday, maybe even rain mixed with snow. But again, it will really depend on the pattern or the path of that storm and whether it moves a little farther to the west or a little farther to the east, whether we get the blocking impact of those mountains. And then around the North Gulf Coast, you will also see that more of that rain just continues to move in. So over the next couple of days, now this takes us to all the way into Sunday about 11:30, and you can see that Juneau's looking for another inch, almost 1.25 inches of rain coming through. Petersburg, another 1.75 inches, and then Ketchikan, another inch of rain too. So not done with this storm at all, not done with that front, and likely to see more. And around South Central, most of this is going to be focused around Prince William Sound and Whittier bearing the brunt of that. This might skew a little bit high. I think we're probably closer to 3 inches of rain by Sunday morning, but that is still a lot of rain coming in, over 1.25 inches in Valdez over those 2 days as well, and Seward over 1.5 inches. Very little here in the Anchorage area. So let's take a look at our forecast around the state. Southeast Alaska, you are looking at rain. We've been talking about it all day. We're expecting rain for today, rain coming in for tomorrow as well, and a little bit gusty winds, or particularly around Yakutat and Sitka. You're seeing those gusts come through to about 40 miles per hour. Into the interior, as I said, it's going to be warm. Check out Healy and Delta Junction, mid-30s for your daytime highs, and all the way to the upper 20s around Fairbanks, so likely to hit 29. Northern Alaska, temperatures staying well below zero. You've been one of the few places that's actually held on to your normal temperatures, keeping things on the cold side as expected for this time of year. But you also got to watch out for those wind chills. As I said, wind chills 40 to 45 below across northern Alaska. And then across the west coast, we're starting to see that warm air come in, and we're also seeing some of those clouds start to move in. So areas around Unalakleet expecting to hit 25 today, 23 in McGrath. Out toward the Aleutian Islands, overall a little bit quiet around Adak and St. Paul with some mostly cloudy skies, but Cold Bay, looking at that rain, already seen some coming through this morning, some scattered showers as well around Bristol Bay and Dillingham as the system, the one system moves through and then you've got another one behind it. On the south central area, moving into the Kenai Peninsula, a little bit gusty around the Seward area with that rain-snow mix early in the day, but turning to rain. Also seeing those rain showers for Kodiak, Homer, also Kachemak Bay, seeing some winds out of the north to about 20 miles per hour. Prince William Sound, we are looking for some stronger winds as well, gusting to about 35 miles per hour, mostly out of the east and northeast. Whittier, heavy rain for you. You are expected to see that rain coming through, and I know it is pretty typical for your area, but just giving it a heads up, that's going to stay consistent throughout the week. We are looking for mostly cloudy skies in the Matanuska-Susitna valleys. Could get into the mid to low 40s around Palmer and Wasilla today with those winds out of the northeast to about 15 miles per hour. So let's look at the next 7 days. We want to focus on this weekend. Of course, here in the Anchorage area, we will have the ceremonial start downtown in Anchorage. Happens at 10 o'clock is when they say it's going to begin, and they've got a number of festivities to occur before the first musher goes out. You can also watch that on Channel 2 or on any of our free streaming platforms. Right here where you're watching this, we will be live with that program as well. 38 our expected high, though, for tomorrow. Probably will be into the low 30s just as the dogs take off. Now, it is a shortened route this year through Anchorage because of the lack of snow and probably including those warm temperatures. They stay warm all week into the weekend, into the middle of next week. We're not looking for much of a change. Upper 30s, not saying that it's spring, but it kind of feels like spring out there. And then on Monday, we do the official start into the interior. So we're looking at those mostly cloudy skies, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy as we get through the weekend. But upper 20s, that's a good 12 degrees above your normal for this time of year. So by the time you get to 35, we are almost 20 degrees above normal. In fact, Wednesday, that's where we expect to be 20 degrees above normal temperatures into the interior. So when we say, is this normal for these temperatures? The answer in this case is definitely no. We are looking at really warm temperatures across the interior, not only for today and tomorrow, but even warmer as we move into next week. And it's just with all that warm air that's being pushed into the interior. It is, so far, we're doing well with snow depth. Melissa Fry is going to have more on that tonight on your news. We'll talk about the snow depth along the trail, and things are frozen, and that's good news, but definitely it's going to be warm, and even overnight temperatures only into the teens for at least the first part of the trail. Then it does look like it gets a little bit colder as you head toward the west coast. Thank you so much for joining us, and of course you can always catch our forecasts on alaskasnewssource.com and join us at noon, 4, 5, 6, and 10 on Alaska's News Source.